What's up, everybody? This is Fred Richani. We have right here via Zoom a very special guest. She's a standout recording artist. She is one of the founding members of legendary NXT stable Hit Row, and she's one of the rising stars on Friday Night SmackDown, WWE's flagship show on USA Network. We are talking to B-Fab, aka Briana Brandy. Briana, thank you so much for the time. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. Thank you so much, Fred, for having me.
Of course. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy
For
schedule.
sure.
And it has been pretty busy for all the WWE
Yeah.
superstars and production staff involved. You went on the road to WrestleMania. I know you didn't get a chance to make the actual card, but of course you did participate in all the media festivities. How's your body? How's your mind feeling after a whirlwind month?
Body's feeling, the body's bodying, like it's little aches and pains. I always say like we cruise it around like a good 70%, as far as like aches and pains go. But overall, I feel like I'm in good space, good mental space, which is the most important. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
From what I understand, too, you've been doing quite a bit of trading. You've been at this
Yes.
for quite a while now. If I recall correctly, you were originally signed by WWE in 2019. You were
Mhm.
released, luckily brought back. Been doing your thing now, most recently teaming with Michin. We talked off the air. You've really been putting in the work. So can you tell everybody a little bit of what you've been doing off screen and who you've been working with?
I've been working and training with Natalya Neidhart and TJ at the Legendary Dungeon. That's been a lot of fun there. It's a great atmosphere and just learning so much. And I've also been, doing some private lessons as well on top of that. But yeah, just been working super hard at the dungeon, crafting my skills and just trying to get better overall.
We love to hear that. And yeah, I mean, you can't find two better people to train with than Natalia and TJ Wilson, aka
Exactly.
Tyson Kidd. We hear a lot about Natalia. I don't think everybody always hears about TJ Wilson and his influence as a producer. Can you just talk a little bit about what he's meant to you and your growth as a wrestler and in general to that locker room backstage?
He's amazing. I mean, he definitely is the voice for the women. Like he definitely, always makes sure we are showing out, or he has the greatest ideas when it comes to like helping us put matches together, or even when we're training, at the dungeon, like he always like, hey, that's cool, but like tweak this way, or you actually can do this a little bit easier that way. Like TJ's mind is insane. He's like so amazing. I'm so grateful to have him, whether it be at SmackDown or, the sessions that we have at the dungeon.
And it's interesting. I feel like we've seen you more in the ring the last couple of years than we did
Yeah.
initially in your first run. So when you were first signed, did they tell you, hey, Brianna, you're going to be a professional wrestler, or did they have in mind that you were more of a valet, or was it not really clear at first?
They kind of, I got signed to be a wrestler. I never got signed to be a valet. But the position called for me to be a valet at the moment. So I, wanted to do whatever I needed to do at the time, especially if that meant getting on TV in the position that I was. But like you said, I got signed in 2019, but then like right after that, COVID hit, so I really got the training for probably maybe 8 months. And then COVID happened, and then like there was pretty much no training. We just got down to just watching matches with our coaches. Anytime anybody got a positive test, they like shut everything down. So it was like a really crazy time. And then when we finally were able to get back to some training and like working our way back into the PC and everything like that, that's when they asked us to form, because we already were doing Hit Row, the three of us, AJ Francis, Ashante, and myself. We were doing Hit Row for like a year, just doing promos, whenever we could get together and just show the product that we were trying to be, the group that we were trying to form. So then when after COVID was over, we kind of got back into the PC more. They came to us and asked if we wanted to add Swerve with us. And he was already had, a lot of TV equity. So we're like, man, like that's cool. Let's do it. So that's how we kind of jumped from immediately that right to TV, doing all of Hit Row and everything like that. So the time from of me getting signed to COVID happening to being with Hit Row on TV and then getting called up, like that was all time that I didn't get time to really flourish and train and get those tools that I need to like really become a wrestler, because it was like got signed, I was putting in like triple and double training myself because I knew I hadn't wrestled, around the world the last years. I didn't have a wrestling background. So there was a lot of like ground I had to cover. So that meant a lot to me just to put in that extra work even then to make sure that I can cover the ground and, become someone who, is a dominant force in WWE. And like I said, then COVID happened. That broke everything up, which had to kind of go back to whenever I was with Hit Row again. And again, we got caught up after that. So the whirlwind of just all those things happening, I never really got to like get my feeding as far as like in the ring and like get my ability, fully fully all together there.
Yeah, and you were unfortunately released a couple years later. Of course, you were brought back, but when you
Yeah.
guys were released, did it give you any kind of perspective and maybe an opportunity to kind of slow down? Because as you mentioned, you were going a million miles an hour when you were first signed.
Yeah. When it got released, it really was a mental thing for me. Like I really got to dive deep into myself and just figure out who I am, got connected a lot with, spirituality and like, myself on that side. So I feel like it was a blessing in disguise for me because it did get me to slow down and it got me to really just find out who I was as Briana Brandy and not just, the TV character and, B-Fab and all the stuff that was going on with that. I really got to connect with myself and just like ground myself and center myself in myself again.
From what I understand, you trained in CrossFit or some form of CrossFit and ninjitsu. And when I look at that on paper, I'm thinking, wow, okay, you could probably do some grappling, maybe even get into combat
Yeah.
sports. Was MMA or grappling ever on the table for you before deciding to go into pro wrestling?
I always like the training aspect of it because I just like to put in the work. Like I like to feel, the sweating and like the training and just putting all the hard work into that kind of stuff. So I mean I thought for a while that I might try to go into MMA, but like at the same time I was thinking about MMA, the opportunity for WWE popped up. So I was like, like I do music, I can speak really well on the microphone and I'm an athlete, like maybe that'd be better trifecta to bring all those things together. So
And from what I understand, based on my research, you were a big fan of Triple H, Chyna, Steve Austin, but it was really Chyna who kind of drew you in, right?
definitely, like 1,000%. I was a super tomboy growing up, so I just was the girl who just wanted to hang around her uncles all the time. So that's really what drew me in. Is like China was with the boys. She was wrestling with the boys. She was doing stuff with the boys, and I was like, I'm her, but then I'm kind of not her because she's like built like the ninth one in the world. She was huge. I wasn't built like that. So wrestling never was something that I thought I could do because of the stature and how big the women were, and the one that I focused on was her. So it's like, well, I'm not China, so maybe this isn't like a thing that I could do. But yeah, wrestling it definitely was something that came to me and I ended up falling in love with it. But yeah, I was a huge fan of China. Like being with the guys, that resonated with me a lot.
Yeah, she's definitely a legend. And I love the fact that it eventually led you back to wrestling and also now participating in it, being a professional wrestler as well. But what's
Yeah.
interesting is that you've been doing music for a long time now. A lot of people might watch you and say, oh, Brianna's done Hit Row. Okay, it's just a gimmick or whatever. Oh, she just
Yeah.
started putting out music after she was released and brought back. But you look at, I mean, just your Spotify alone, your most recent, your oldest single was like from 2013. I'm sure you've been doing music a lot
Yeah.
longer than that. You toured with
Oh
the Yin
yeah.
Yang Twins, Jada Kiss, Soldier Boy, just to name a few. So when you were really cutting your teeth in the music industry, did you foresee yourself just making a career out of that and not doing anything as far as athletics and other performing arts, or did you realize like, hey, this industry's kind of shaky and up and down at times. I got to have an alternative.
Actually, yeah, I was already fully, in music deeply at the time. Like you said, I'd done a lot of tours and a lot of openings and things like that for major artists. So that was my main focus. But I was running on a treadmill one day and the guy came up and was like, hey, have you ever thought about being a wrestler? And I was like, no, like he's like, oh, well, I think you have a great body for it. I think you like be a really, good person to like get into that world. I think I see a really like, big star in you. And I was like, okay. So I kind of like started watching a little bit after that. But yeah, this really wasn't something that I had in mind. But that he was one that actually brought it to me, was like, hey, I know you're doing music and I know everything really love that. That's like a huge focus of yours. But if you ever think about wrestling, like it's a really big industry, I really think you'd be good at it. So that's what kind of gave me the idea to like, okay, let me sit back and maybe look at this and see, what it is. And because like I said, I had watched it back when China and The Rock and everybody was there. So I didn't know what the product was looking like these days. And when I went back and watched it and saw like the Becky Lynch's, the Sasha Banks, the Charlottes, like all those girls, Bailey's, all those girls look like me. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this.
And luckily, of course, you ended up with WWE twice, which is great. But
Yes.
when you're initially starting out in wrestling, I mean, there's a lot of pitfalls, a lot of carnies, and you look at the music industry, it can kind of be the same way, right? You might not always get paid. There's different politics involved. So do you feel like the music
Yeah.
industry really kind of prepared you for what you had to face as a pro wrestler, at least from the mental aspect?
Oh, definitely. It just showed you to be ready for anything, And it kind of, it's crazy because a lot of the tools from music, as far as like public speaking, being able to move a crowd, I was able to take those skills and it resonated with WWE perfectly. But yeah, there's some similarities there. The music industry for me is definitely more down sometimes than up. So, WWE is a little bit more controllable in that sense of, you kind of know a little bit more about what's coming next for you in some aspects.
Right. And I would imagine the pay is more consistent, whereas I feel like now with music with artists I've talked to, it's a lot of it is touring because streaming
Yes.
is varied.
Yes, yes. You have to be controlling every aspect of, every element, doing it all, know how to produce, know how to do videos, know how to do all these things yourself, which is great. It's great for the artist because you have creative freedom over everything. But if those things aren't your forte, then you have to like learn them. And that's like a whole other thing, having to learn something you're not used to. Good going just from being the artist.
Oh yeah, and as we mentioned, you've been a successful recording artist, especially in the world of hip hop. But I was doing a little bit of research on you. I went on IMDb and was looking at some of your past credits, and I saw in 2013 you actually provided the violin for a little documentary called Blackfish, which kind of talked about the whole SeaWorld scandal. Seems very unique and out of left field based on what we've seen from you. So, how did you get involved with that, and how was that experience?
The violin?
It says on IMDb actually says violin. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but that is not correct.
Okay. I don't know why that's listed on there. Did you provide any
Yeah.
music for that?
No, I did not. I was
Really?
not
Okay.
involved in that product. I don't know how that got there. That's cool.
That
A little
is weird.
violin
Yeah,
action
because
from B-Fab would be great, but no.
that is so okay. My bad. My bad. Okay,
It's all
that's so
good.
weird. Yeah, yeah. Look, yeah. I'm literally on your IMDb. It says music department previous Blackfish musician. Oh, viola. Sorry. Okay, so not violin, but viola, but close enough. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
you didn't have anything to do with Blackfish then.
No.
Okay, okay. We'll have to talk to the good folks at IMDb and tell them, listen, you have the wrong Briana Brandy. Okay.
You need to get your credits right, bro.
All right. Well, on that note, then, of course, you have been doing some form of performing arts and athletics for years and years now. Was acting ever on the table, or and is it something you'd look into down the road? Especially with
Oh,
WWE now, of
definitely.
course, being with UFC and TKO, which has pretty strong agency ties.
Yes, acting is definitely something I want to get into. I mean, I feel like these all go hand in hand, from music, from to wrestling, it all leads you right to that door. So acting is definitely something I would love to get into. I've actually taken acting lessons for the last like 6, 7 years now, so it's something I'm truly interested in for sure.
Oh, nice. So have I, and I feel like with me, even when I don't do acting, it helps me better as a public speaker. And honestly, it's kind of made me a better person because you have to kind of look inwards, right? You have to be quote unquote truthful.
Yes.
So do you feel like that's helped you with promos and just in general as a person?
Oh yeah, it makes you connect more with what you're saying. Even if the story, isn't a legit story or whatever, you have to connect to it in some kind of way. So it teaches you, and again, going back to like, all the inner work that I did as well too, the meditation and things like that I do, all these things go hand in hand. And it was kind of weird because when I first started my acting lessons, like my acting coach wanted me to like do deep breathing and like, use my body a lot and, use different parts of my diaphragm that I didn't think had anything to do with acting at all. So you just see how all these things are connected. So yeah, definitely.
It's great. Hey, anytime you expand your imagination, it only helps you when you're on screen, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Great. Well, Brandon, we really do appreciate the time. Before we let you go, we always like to ask all our guests some kind of random and rapid fire questions just to get to know them better. Are you ready?
Okay, let's go.
All right. Favorite late night snack or cheat meal?
Ooh, probably pizza.
All right. You're based in Florida right now, originally from
Mhm.
Canton. Is there a favorite spot you have? Could be a landmark, could be a diner in Canton and where you're at in Florida right now that you'd recommend?
In Canton, I love Cafe Istanbul. I love that place. It's like open 24 hours. Has a nice little vibe to it. They have really good tea. I'm a big tea person. So yeah, that's definitely a spot that I love. And back home, I really just miss my mom's cooking. So we ate like with our families a lot, that kind of thing. We were very like family oriented. So I miss that more than anything. So you can't go to her house and get her food, but yeah, it is good if you're wondering.
Awesome. Yeah, gotta love mom's cooking there. Can't
Exactly.
argue with that. You mentioned Natalia, you mentioned TJ Wilson. Has there anybody else that you feel like you've learned from, like over the last couple of years in WWE? Somebody that you really feel like you'd point to as like a positive influence?
Man, so many. Honestly, like we have such a good group of people that we work with. Everyone backstage is like super helpful, you know. I would definitely say the Usos though, like just seeing their whole journey, especially Jay, you know, him being champion now, like after all the years and him in his own mind, even sometime probably being like, maybe I'm not the guy. And like now he's like the guy. Like I'm just so proud of that. So I would definitely say the Usos and just watching their journey and, you know, letting them, you know, they're always telling us never give up, you know, keep going forward. Your time will come. You know, timing is everything. So they've definitely been helping me a lot for sure. But I've gotten help from tons of people. But yeah, it's definitely been cool to see their journey of everything and how they're climbing to where they are now.
Yeah, those guys are great. And I think people forget, like their first few years in WWE, they didn't even make the WrestleMania main card. People think they've always been on top, but they were really grinding for, even with their lineage and everything, they were grinding from the beginning. So it is amazing to
Yeah.
see all their hard work pay off.
Yeah, it took a while for them to be in like the spot that everyone sees them in now. Like they don't know all the work they put in. So it's really cool to see.
Who is the funniest person backstage?
Nia Jax. She's hilarious. Like, yeah, she's really funny. I mean, we have a few funny people. Our makeup artists, honestly, those girls. If you ever get a chance to interview any makeup artists for WWE, they're hilarious too. So we have a good group, though. Like I said, but yeah, those guys are pretty hilarious. Those three.
And on that note, you're pretty active on social media. Mia Yim is as well on TikTok. You got Kaden and Katana. Who would you say is the best at TikTok?
The best at TikTok, man. Um, Tiffany does really good at TikTok as well. Like she does really good at TikTok. I would say, like you said, Meecha's really good. I think Kaden and Casey are very hilarious. Their TikToks are always funny, especially when they bring in Damien on them. So yeah, their TikToks are hilarious. For a minute there, whenever Nia and Tiffany were also creating TikToks together, those were hilarious too. So yeah, everyone's kind of pretty funny back there. But the funniest, I don't know. That's hard to say. That's kind of hard to figure out who's the funniest. And we got some funny people. Like seriously, you would be really surprised. Like, oh, I didn't even know this person was hilarious like that.
So is it safe to assume that the women's locker room is, for the most part, pretty supportive of each other?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you've heard the stories of how far the women's locker room has come, and you know how catty things used to get before. And I'm so grateful that we just are truly all there to uplift and like support each other. You know, we all just want to see each other do well. We all want those main event moments too, you know, so we're all pushing each other. And it's like, you know, iron sharpens irons. Everyone's pushing each other to be their best so that we can be put in those positions that we all want to be in. So yeah, we're really, really good back there, really tight.
Great to hear. What's your most awkward moment as a WWE superstar?
Man, I don't want to bring this up at all, but it was for me like the most awkward moment because I really didn't know what to do because I we were on a double taping this time, so I really didn't even know what was going on, like what my reaction should have been. But the dive with AJ, like if you go back into the video, like I'm like hopping up and down because I'm like, how should I be reacting to this? 'Cause I don't know what they're going to put on TV. So that was like probably the most awkward moment for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Like, what's my reaction? I knew they cut away to me at that time. So I'm like, oh my goodness. AJ, sorry for bringing this up, but that was one for me. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, you're talking about the infamous AJ Francis dive.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you know what? I gotta say, the guy does get a lot of flack, but I do respect the fact that not only of the work that he put in before getting to WWE, but also I do love his confidence. You know, the
Oh
fact that
yeah.
no matter what, he's not flustered. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I would imagine you two are still friends to this day. Does
Yeah.
so if so, does like that confidence kind of rub off on you, like? Because you do gonna have short-term memory in these kind of performing arts in
Oh
sports.
yeah.
You know, anytime you do mess up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Deja has tons of confidence. I mean, we all have confidence, and that's why I feel like Hit Row did so well so quickly because we all ooze confidence. Even Ashante, like all of us, you know, swear we all just had this confidence about us that we knew, even if we weren't in the position that we wanted to be in, we were going to be in that position soon. And then when we got the position, we were like, yeah, we knew. So like we all kind of have this confidence, and that's what made us all work. But yeah, we kind of all were feeding off each other in that moment.
And we get you at another high note. What's the best piece of advice you have for success?
Control what you can control. Do everything in your control and have no regrets, making sure that you know you're turning over every stone that you know you can do, like making sure your body's good, making sure you're taking acting class if speaking on the mic isn't something that's you know a strong suit for you. Just making sure you look the part, just making sure you're controlling all of things that you can do. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to look back and be like, this happened, but what if I would have did X, Y, Z? Could the outcome have been different? I cannot live like that. So I definitely am a big believer on like control what you can control. You know, you're gonna have your bad days. Don't let your whole attitude go with it. If you don't need to let it go that far, but overall, just, you know, do what you can do. Always put that work in.
Wise words, love that. And bonus question. Is there anything you wish I asked you in this interview?
Um, I feel like you covered everything. You know, we kind of got to talk about the career. You know, the things I really wanted to, you know, say is just like I'm putting in the work and I'm grinding and I'm, you know, elevating. And every piece they give me, I'm making sure I, you know, make the best out of it that I can. And I just know that my future is going to be really bright. And I'm just really excited about everything I'm doing right now. So, no, it's a great interview.
Oh, thank you so much. Hey, and you're a great guest. Actually,
Thank you.
one more question. So
Okay,
you put out a lot of music. I checked out your music. It's awesome. It's currently streamed on Spotify and wherever music is streamed. Is there any album or single you'd love people to check out? One that you're really proud of in particular?
I have a single that's actually my last single was called Focus. I'm working on some new stuff now, but trying to, you know, play with sounds and things like that. And just with everything I have going on, it's just like sometimes difficult to get those moments in. But yeah, I would definitely go check out Focus. It's one of my favorite songs that I did. And it's my most recent as well. So yeah, check it out.
Excellent. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure learning about you and your journey. Before we let you
Thank
go,
you.
where can fans find you online? And of course, other than Friday Night SmackDown and USA Network, where can we find you next?
Brianna_Brandy on Instagram, the Vibree on X. And yeah, anywhere you see B-Fab, check it out. See what she's doing, see what she's talking about. You know, I'm constantly, you know, doing things outside of WWE, as far as like on my social media, just carrying my vibe and what's going on with me internally. So you can see all that there for sure.
Amazing. Brianna, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.